four GOAT discussion. Nobody has been able to do what he's been able to do in the division or in any division. He's got knockout, he's got submission wins. Oh God, I hate doing this.
In his prime, I think is #1. Like, you wouldn't take any other version of another fighter.
I don't know, I'll take. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel, and look at my boy Michael. He's got a brand new chain on, so we appreciate you people out there watching the videos, man. You know, the YouTube check came through, got a brand new 18 karat gold chain around his neck. But boys, we want to talk to you guys about something, the top 4 GOAT discussion. Now, this word gets thrown around all the damn time. Who's the GOAT? What era? If you fought in Pride, you consider to be a GOAT. You fought in Bellator, UFC, won championship, whatever it may be. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give you guys our top 4 GOATs of all time. Okay, now we're going to get to the list. Now, who I have at my number 4 for greatest of all time. It's going to have to be, oh God, I hate doing this. I'm gonna go with Anderson Silva. I think Anderson Silva was absolutely amazing in his time, what he's been able to do. And my criteria for being a GOAT is very, very long, but Anderson Silva makes it. He's got knockout, he's got submission wins, he's got decision wins. He is my number 4. Then when we go to number 3, I'm gonna have to go with George St. Pierre, becoming a 2-divisional champion, welterweight, also middleweight, taking a long, extensive layoff to come back to beat Michael Bisping, become the middleweight champion. And once again, he has wins in knockout, submission, and also decision. Then at number 2, you have yours truly, Demetrious Johnson. Nobody has been able to do what I've been able to do in the flyweight division or in any division. 11 consecutive title defenses, created a brand new move that none of you guys ever seen, the Mighty Whiz Bar. Shout out to Matt Hume who helped me learn that move. I have wins by knockout, submission, got a decision, got in a split draw, whatever you want to call it. And then for my number 1, I have Jon Jones. That is the only man that I'll put ahead of me, because this man, I feel like any single time he has been inside the cage, he could just destroy his opponent however he wanted. He also has wins by knockout, putting people to sleep, decisions, everything on the list. Now, Michael, you're looking all good over there. Hair is looking fresh, brand new chain. Who's your top 4, brother?
Now, I actually do have the same 4 that you do. So that's interesting. I think personally, here's where I'll change it up a little bit. So I have GSP 4th. Now let's get into this is from July 2009 through that Hendricks fight. Decision.
God
Split
damn.
decision. Anderson Silva, spoiler alert, I have him at number 2 actually. Number 3, I have a guy, you might know him. His name is Demetrious Johnson. That's who I have at number 3.
Why the hell am I number 3? What the hell is that all about?
So I think here's my thing with Anderson Silva, and when we talk about the GOAT debate,
okay,
I think it's tough sometimes of what are we looking at? The overall resume, the whole record. It's just tough because I do know that Anderson Silva obviously ended his career very poorly. There's no mistaking that. For me, if you take one version of a fighter ever, we're not even talking about career, just one version of a fighter. Yeah. Anderson Silva in his prime, I think, is #1. Like, you wouldn't take any other version of another fighter. And I'll put that over Jon Jones too. I don't know what you have to say about that take, but
I don't know. I'll take my best version of prime Demetrious Johnson against best prime of Anderson Silva, because let me tell you what, if you have prime Demetrious Johnson and Tyler latest goes his back and wants to pull guard, you best believe my black ass is gonna not tell him to stand the up. I'm gonna go right in his guard and I'm gonna bust his guard up with my jiu-jitsu. That's why I would take prime Demetrious Johnson over prime Anderson Silva, because those guys, when their athletes would want to go in a certain realm of jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, whatever it may be, and we've seen it in his fights where he fought Tyler Slatus. That was one of the fights. I believe that was over in Abu Dhabi. He got booed because when Tyler Slatus laid down, he didn't want to go in his guard. Your old boy here, I would have gotten that guard like it was Destiny on a wedding night and the best G-strings she ever had in her life. I would have got all in that guard. So, go on, Michael. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
You know this better than anyone, but I'm going to give major brownie points to how you win. And that's why I have GSP number 4 personally. Like, if you think in your head, what are like iconic finishes for GSP, right? Like it's harder for you to, it probably is Bisping or Matt Hughes. And when you look at Anderson Silva, like Forrest Griffin, that might be my favorite performance ever. I mean, it's literally Matrix. It is just unreal what he does in that fight.
Or even the Stephan Bonner, when he had him going back to the cage and he lands that flying knee to the solarplex and drops. I mean, prime Anderson Silva versus prime Israel Adesanya. I think prime Anderson Silva would eat Israel Adesanya. But then I think back and I was like, I don't know, because they're both amazing stand-up artists. But man, prime Silva was a sight to behold. I agree with you.
Here, I'll do it for all you haters. This was the end of his career. Loss, no contest, loss, win, loss. I'm not hiding the numbers here. I'm just saying that for my personal preference, I'm just looking at like, dude, at this guy's peak, there was no one better, no one more entertaining. And I'm weighing that a little bit more than, I mean, it was a very, very hard to watch end of his UFC career.
Prime Anderson Silva was, as my son would say, wah.
Let's talk about that trio, because I think we're in agreement that Jon Jones is the GOAT. So we'll discuss that later. Just that trio, when you look at you versus Anderson Silva and GSP, why do you think you have a better claim on the GOAT mountain?
I just think, what I've been able to do in mixed martial arts, everyone's going to have that one discussion of like, oh, well, the competition that you fought isn't as good as theirs. That's like saying Michael Jordan would have been successful if he was to play against guys like Stephen Curry, LeBron James, the list just goes on. For me to be able to have 11 consecutive title defenses and always look for the finish against my opponents, against Akira Horiguchi, Chris Carriaso, the John Dotson, the Ray Borg, the Henry Cejudo, the list just goes on, and be able to go to a different organization where I'm fighting at 135, I'm fighting bigger opponents, different rule set, was able to win a World Grand Prix, which is a tournament style, 3 fights in 1 year, and then turn around, fight for the belt. I got knocked out, I came back, knocked the guy out, and then I defended the belt. And then after all that, I go do a IBJJ Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, my first time in the gi, brown belt masters at 37 years old, and I go out there and I win it. Not 1 point got scored on me. Not any one of those fighters, or not even Jon Jones himself, would do that and be able to pass with flying colors. So I think the ability for me to be able to transition into different things is what's put me above those guys. But typically, I don't put myself above people. I just, since we're having this discussion, I was like, hell, I'll go ahead and make an argument for myself why I believe I'm in that top 4.
All you haters that say Demetrious was just a flyweight and all that. Oh, the lack of competition. That's, you beat who's in front of you, did it in a fashion that is memorable and will be watched for years. So talking about a guy who has the least weaknesses of any fighter in the history of mixed martial arts, I'll definitely give you that credit there, and not just because this is your YouTube channel. Demetrious Johnson, one of the GOATs in MMA. Right now, let's present your GOAT and tell me why you have him as your GOAT.
Yeah, I have Jon Jones. The only thing that can hurt Jon Jones, and everybody will probably agree with this, is just the accusation of the PED. But it was only a picogram. Besides that, I don't think there's anybody that actually had an opportunity to threaten him. I know he's getting ready to fight Stipe Miocic. He has gone up to heavyweight. I truly believe that he could have been a heavyweight champion a long time ago. I remember sitting there watching him fight, and I'm like, he can pull guard, he can do whatever he wants to this guy, but he's just taking his time. That's why Jon Jones is going to be my all-time #1.
I would not blame anyone if those things make you take him down a notch, but if we're just talking about who kicks the most ass inside that cage, is Jon Jones. He's not lost. This in a sport where everyone loses, he is not lost. So I mean, I have to put Jon Jones #1.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because he has not lost. I mean, he does have that Matt Hamill loss, but he was beating the living hell out of him. The guy disqualified. And you're right, his biggest rivalry is himself. I did love his rivalry. The next video we should do, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this video, make sure you do yourself a favor, like, also subscribe to the channel, and please leave a comment of who your top 4 is, because if this video has a lot of discussion, I would love to do a video on the top rivalries in mixed martial arts, not just in the UFC. Granted, there are a lot of bangers in the UFC, but there are some good ones in the Pride when it became, Krokop versus Vanderlei Silva. I mean, the list just goes on. But the Daniel Cormier versus Jon Jones rivalry, Oh my God. I still get goosebumps when Jon Jones sat there and says, Daniel Cormier, I want to let you know, every second you train for this upcoming fight, it will be a waste of your life. I'm going to take you down. There's nothing you can... Oh, I was just like, whoo! Go ahead, Bones. Tell him about this, babe. Tell him. We're at this point now in our career where we don't get to see him fight as often. He took, what, 2 to 3 years off to become a heavyweight? It's like, man, imagine if he would have competed between that time in 3 years of how much more he could have done.
DJ, if you had to say some of the close ones, who was the hardest to leave off your GOAT mountain?
I mean, notable mentions, I'm not going to lie, Khabib, Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev. I mean, but that's the thing. Those guys are still fighting. The ones who are retired, like Khabib, definitely hard to keep him off there just because his inactivity. I felt like there was a big string of time when I was active. I'm like, man, when's Khabib going to fight? When is he going to fight? When is he going to fight? And I remember being in New York and I talked to him. He goes, brother, I have injuries. Injuries after this, injuries here. Then he went on a little tear. He beat Conor, became the champion, defended a couple times, and then he stopped. But I was like, man, I'd love to see like maybe 7, 8 straight title defenses. But, you know, he wanted to go do other things and help other athletes. Who else was hard? Fedor Emelianenko was another one I would love to have on there. Krokop, even though he never became a UFC champion or Pride champion, he was a Pride Grand Prix champion. I always really enjoyed watching him fight. I mean, there's just so many. Bibiano Fernandez is one of them. You know, he has an amazing career. One of the best athletes to come from a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, from an IBJJF 5-time world champion, and to come into mixed martial arts, to be the longest reigning champion in one championship, to be a dream champion. I mean, there's so many good guys out there. But hey, not everyone can fit on that mountain. I mean, there's so many presidents in the world, but they only got room for 4, baby. And the 4 for me, GSP, myself, Anderson Silva, and Jon Jones. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this special episode. I don't know if this is a Mighty Cast. It's just us shooting the shit, and we thought you guys might like this. We want to know what your guys' top 4 is. Leave it in the description. Me and Michael go, not in the description, leave it in the comment. Me and Michael go through and read all the comments and interact with you guys. So do yourself a favor, get in the discussion. I am Demetrious Johnson, and that is my friend Michael with that brand new chain and that beautiful hair he's got. We'll see you at the next one.